Well, we are back for round two, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Sorry we had some technical difficulties. We're going to try this again because today is all about sales, the most important skill for designers that unfortunately most designers don't have. So if you caught the first part of this stream, we're going to do it over. We're going to do the whole thing again because unfortunately it just didn't work. Okay, so if your connection is not good, let me know. Talk to me in the chat. Let me know how your Friday is going, and let me know also what's your experience with sales as far as being a creative, because there's a huge difference between surviving as a creative and thriving as a creative. And I think that that big difference is sales. Can you sell? Do you know what you're selling? Do you know how to talk to clients? Do you know what sales is supposed to be? Give me some sort of reaction or comment over there in the chat. Also, if maybe you're the type of person that doesn't like sales, you don't like talking about money, thinking about money, you just want to do the creative work. That's a very common thing for creatives. And I really try to spend as much time as possible in my Design Champs community, arming my members, my Design Champs, with the skills to sell. So let's chat as quickly as possible because it looks like we are dropping frames and not doing good on the stream. So we're going to run through this thing as fast as humanly possible to try to give you as much content and value as possible before this whole thing implodes upon itself again. So let's chat quickly about sales. Again, that skill set that most designers don't have, shall we? So let's just dive right in. Talk about the first piece out of these 5 basic ideas about selling. And I am going to sneeze here in a second. So just excuse me while I sneeze. Wow. Ever have a really good sneeze? Because that's what I just had. I had a really, really good one. Felt nice. All right. The first big thing is to sell solutions, not services. Nadia says, doesn't like sales. That's why I started to work in a corporate job, because sales isn't your jam. It's not your vibe. Well, hey, maybe you like that corporate job, but understand this, the topics we're going to discuss today about sales also apply to your corporate job, because how do you think you get promotions? How do you think you get raises? By showing value, by not just selling what we're going to talk about here or talking about your services or your product or what you create, but instead talking about the solutions that you bring to the company, to the client, to whoever you're contracting for. This is big stuff for all manners of scenarios. Okay, so you need to sell solutions, not services. And if I could rewrite that headline, it would say sell solutions and the vision. Sell the vision. Don't sell your services or your product. And this is what happens a lot with creatives. We say, hey, I have a website to sell you. I would love to sell you this website. Do you need a website? And your client looks at you and they say, no, I don't need a website, which is really troublesome. Why don't you need a website? Don't you know how important that is? Don't you know how worth it is? And they look at you and they say, no, it's not worth anything to me. What do you do in that scenario when they just don't see the value? That's a pretty good indicator that you have not shown them the value. Because let's ask this question. What is the pricing or the value? How much should you charge? What's the value of a website? Here's the truth. If you're just selling it as a service or a product, the value of that thing could be $0. Or if you're selling the vision and the solution, it could be worth $500,000. Why such a drastic difference, you might be asking? Because one has not shown how that solution is going to solve a problem or bring value to that client or company, and the other absolutely has. They've shown immense value. So ask yourself this question. Are you showing value? And in case all of you out there who are like, I don't like sales, sales feels greasy, it feels sleazy, I don't like it, I don't want to deal with it, understand this. Money is nothing more than the understanding or implication of value, right? So the more value you bring, the natural byproduct is money. Okay, so with that being said, it's a basic commerce lesson. If you can learn how to sell solutions and the vision of what it could accomplish for a company, that's going to be huge. Here's what it says here. The biggest mistake anybody can make is in prioritizing products or services over the real reason that customers buy. Why do customers buy? They buy because it's valuable to them, not because it's valuable to you. Of course, you would love to make $10,000 on a website. Of course, you would love to make $20,000 on a logo. That's valuable to you. But nobody buys the thing and spends lots of money to bring value to you. They spend money to bring value to themselves. So are you bringing value? Here's some examples. If you are trying to design and build websites for people and maybe you're struggling. Maybe you're selling websites at the $500 mark, the $1,000 mark. How are other people out there selling websites for the $10,000 mark, the $15,000 mark? They're selling those services, not saying, look how pretty my websites are. Look at my portfolio. Would you please give me money so I can make my portfolio better and make more money? None of them are saying that. What they're actually saying is, what is your business's needs, Mr. or Mrs. Client? What's happening there? What's going on with your business? And they say, well, we're struggling to, increase our sales and we're not getting a whole lot of traffic. And you say, oh, solution, let me cast a vision for you. I can actually help you get more traffic and increase your sales. Actually, the last few clients that I've worked with, I've increased their sales by 15 to 20%. Would you like to increase your revenue by 15 to 20% in 2024? And they go, yeah, I would. And you say, how much revenue are you generating? And they say, we're making it about $100,000 a year. How'd you like to make $120,000 next year? Simply by building a new website with me. Tell me more is what I would say. That sounds very, very interesting. Now, if I'm going to make you $20,000, how much is this website worth to you? $10,000? $15,000? I mean, you might even be able to talk them into the full $20,000 because we're talking about revenue year over year, $20,000 end over end. So if I can make you consistent extra 20 a year, it's going to continue to pay for itself in years to come. Wouldn't it be worth for you to buy a website from me for $20,000 because I could solve that problem? Absolutely. This is the process of selling solutions, not services. And it's very, very important. It's a complete mindset shift of you identifying your value. What kind of problems are you good at solving? And when you sell those solutions, what you're really doing is you are diagnosing a customer's problem. What's your problem? I want to fix that for you. What do you need? How can I make that better for you? What are you struggling with? How can I help you improve on that thing? That's the service that we actually sell. It's not color palettes, typography, buttons, websites, logos. We don't sell that. We sell improvements on people's business. Keep that in mind and you will do well. Let's talk about the second piece here. Hopefully our stream is holding up. Talk about benefits, not features. This is a common mistake that a lot of people make when they're not very good at sales. They say, well, why would I want a website? And you go, well, it has a CMS and you could log in and edit the content. It's going to have a blog there, so that'll be really nice for you. And they go, these are a bunch of features. I'm still not even sold on whether or not I need one of these things or how it's going to help me. And a lot of people struggle with this, right? We create something and you want to talk about all the pieces that you've created because you're the creator, but highlighting the specifics, customers, it just won't resonate with it. So you need to talk about the advantages and the benefits of your product. And those advantages and benefits, they stem from the solution and the vision. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you right now? Cast the vision, sell the solution. The talking points are the benefits of that solution. Are you everybody with me? Right? It all rolls downhill. Vision, solution, benefits that will help you on a daily, a weekly basis. So again, you might say something like this. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Client, if I could not just sell you a website, but I could help increase your revenue. And the way that we'll do that to increase traffic to your website is by increasing that traffic through blog, good SEO, and really reordering your site so there's clear call to action so you can increase sales. And we'll blog a little bit more. So we'll build a CMS that'll allow you to have fresh content. That fresh content will bring in new leads and new traffic to your website on a daily and weekly basis. And then you can convert a certain amount of those. And they go, I like that blog idea. They didn't like it before because it seemed worthless, but now it seems like something that's actually valuable. So we want to make sure that we're selling solutions, not services. And we also want to be talking about the benefits. This is going to benefit you by having fresh content that people come to read, digest. This social media strategy is going to benefit you because it's going to make you more visible online to convert more leads into paying customers. This new thing is going to benefit you by always back to the vision, always back to the solution. Tip number 3 is to understand the customer's pain points, right? We can't do any of the things that we just talked about without first understanding the customer's pain points. And so we need to spend some time, slow down. This is a problem for a lot of people. They're ready to sell, sell, sell. And unfortunately, the things they're trying to sell, sell, sell are stuff like, oh, I want to sell you a website and I want to sell you a CMS. I want to sell you a blog. And they're not slowing down and saying, do you need a blog? Is this going to be right for you? Are we sure? So we want to spend time understanding what the problem is behind each client or product. We want to be empathetic. We want to ask lots of questions. We want to learn to listen and understand. Chris Do and the people over at The Future, they're great at harping on this. You need to be a diagnostic technician, and you need to be asking questions, because without asking those questions, you're not going to be able to solve their problems. Imagine if I went into a doctor's office and said, hey, doctor, I'm feeling a little bit sick. And he went, here's some pills. Here's this thing. Do this thing. But he never said, hey, slow down. Tell me what you're feeling. Stick your tongue out. Let me check your throat. Let me look in your eyes. Let me listen to your heart. Let me hear more about what's going on. Let me be empathetic and listen to you. If he just shoved some pills in my face and some stuff and said, get out of here. Here, this is the solution. He wouldn't have listened to me. He'd be a bad doctor, right? If you don't listen and ask questions, you won't understand your customers' pain points. You won't know how to talk about the benefits, not features, and you won't know how to sell the solution instead of selling the service. Without this empathy, you're just trying to sell something. You're just trying to make money. But with this empathy, you're actually trying to understand your clients, and you, as a service provider, become incredibly valuable to your clients. So make sure that you're asking questions. Let's talk about the fourth piece here. We're going fast and furious. Make sure that you speak their language. Excuse me, I had to cough. Make sure that you're speaking their language, not yours. Tell them, don't like what they want to hear. Don't use a bunch of jargon and fancy words. We're going to use a Webflow CMS and integrate AI with ChatGPT to really buff up your SEO and your ROI. They're going, what? I don't even know what you're saying to me right now, right? You want to put all of your efforts into communicating the value of your product clearly and early on, and make sure that they understand what you are actually selling them, right? So again, you're selling them the vision. The solution is increased revenue. A tool like a website or a branding or identity, it's going to help them increase that revenue or traffic or leads. And you're always speaking their language. You're always speaking to their needs. You're saying, hey, listen, I know we want to increase revenue, and so this website is going to help you do that. Here's the key ways, the benefits of how it's going to do that. And I'm always addressing your needs because I've empathized with you and listened. Now I know that what's really important to you is increasing your newsletter, your email list, or your revenue, or your leads, or traction on your website, or your social media following. I know that's important to you. So I'm always going to be speaking to it. And a lot of times, because we are, like I said, creators, we tend to talk a lot about the creation and not what the creation will actually do, not how the creation will actually perform. Speak about the performance of your creation. Speak about the byproducts of your creation, and be speaking about those things very, very clearly. Last one is to become visible. If you're not communicating, you do not exist. And that's why you need to make friends with social media and marketing in general. Always be visible on their radar, reachable at the tip of their hands. This way, your problem-solving products and all the efforts will not go into vain. This means if you want to do good sales, you need to be establishing trust, authority. You need to be resonating with your core demographic or your target demographic, your audience, your client. You need to be speaking to them on a fairly regular basis. And so you can start to actually convert all the things you're talking about, teaching about, reminiscing about through your personal brand online. So they see, hey, this is a person I'd like to work with. They're speaking to my problems, my pain points, and they seem to understand the solution that will help me. Boy, I really, really want to contact this person. This is how we start to convert leads, like cold leads, right? Or unknown potential customers into warm, hot leads, and then full-blown clients of ours, okay? So this is very, very important. Make sure that you are becoming visible. Now let's talk really quickly. I'm gonna give away one tip out of the 5 for freelancers. And if you haven't yet, right, you can catch the other 4 tips of how this actually applies directly to freelancers by joining my Design Champs community for free. It's free to join. All you got to do is scan the QR code or hit the link down in the description, and you'll be able to watch the replay, the full show, the full live stream, where you'll get the rest of these tips. But let's dial in right now and talk specifically about freelancers, okay? So 5 tips for freelancers. Let's just hit one right now before we end the stream. You need to identify your unique strengths. We had somebody ask down here in the chat, it was Philip Cerny, what if you ultimately don't increase those sales, or how can you know how to do that, right? And I think that's the real question you're asking is, how can I even possibly do that? Maybe it's not 20%, maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 5%. Maybe generically you can say, hey, we've increased traffic for our clients and customers. We could do that for you as well. How do you do that is by identifying your unique strengths. So you need to take some time as a freelancer or as somebody who's trying to get hired at a large company. Take some time and ask yourself, what are my skills? What am I really, really good at? And reflect on those skills. What's your experience and what sets you apart in the industry? I have here UI, UX design space, could be the web design space, could be the branding space. What specific aspects of design do you excel in, and what are your unique strengths? Maybe you're really good at designing, e-commerce landing pages. Maybe you're really good at, user experience and leading users through flows. I can really quickly communicate, hey, as somebody with a lot of experience in user experience design, I know how to get my users through the main pathways and red routes to get them to our main conversion goal. Checkout, sign up, log in. I know how to get them there quickly, and I can do that for you. Or maybe you're a branding specialist or a web design specialist, and you know how to solve some sort of specific task. Like, for instance, as a web designer, maybe you know how to use some sort of scheduling software, or maybe you know how to use some sort of CMS software, and this person, your type of client, really, really wants to blog. I got you covered. We can build a blog for you, which will generate traffic. See how we're always leading back to those solutions and vision and really hinging ourselves on our unique strengths. And by pinpointing those strengths of yours, right, you can carve out a niche that aligns with your expertise and your passion. Alex Hormozy, the famous business guy online with the nose thing and the long hair and the big muscles, he says that the riches are in the niches. And so if you start to identify your unique strengths, you can actually start to identify who would appreciate and see value in your unique strengths. And you start to carve out a little bit of a niche for yourself, a target vertical or core demographic of client who might want to work with you and sees the value in you, okay? So what if you can't ultimately or don't know how to increase those sales? You need to figure out what you can do to help businesses. Otherwise, you bring no value to the market. And that's a really harsh reality. Unless you can figure out how to solve specific problems, you're not bringing value. Now, maybe somewhere, someplace, there is some company or client that goes, I just want this to be prettier. And you go, I got you. But I've rarely met somebody who wants to drop $10,000 to $15,000 on a brand refresh or a website redesign simply because they don't think it's pretty. It usually has something to do with the fact that they're not making the money that they anticipated they would. It's not working out like they thought they would. They need to fix it, right? And if they need to fix it, they don't care what it looks like. They care how it works. They care if it actually sells, if it actually makes a difference for their business. You know why? Because you're running a business. And if people said, hey, I would love to hire you, but I'll pay you $1, you're going, this isn't working. I got to get out of this business. I got to either figure out, get a new job, change industries, do something different because I'm not making the money I need to sustain the business. It's the same thing for them. So what value are you bringing to them to help them sustain, and not just sustain, but help their business thrive? If you don't know what those are, again, tap into your unique strengths and figure out how you might lend those to them in order to help increase their business. Folks, that is it for the live stream today. We are slaughtered by technical difficulties and slow connection, so I don't want to waste too much time, but I do want to just talk quickly about a couple of great things that I have going on. Again, if you don't know how to solve specific problems, if you're interested in UI design, I just launched my new 30-day UI designer program. It's a 30-day immersive program, hands-on, where you learn everything you need to learn about UI design. If you're not into that, you don't want to learn about UI design, then consider joining the Design Champs community. It's free to join. That's all you have to do is jump in for free. You get live streams, you get access to me, you get access to cool kind of like VIP posts, behind the scenes stuff. You learn a lot more stuff like this, and you'll get the rest of this session, this show. You'll see more, the other 4 steps as how to apply this as a freelancer. With that being said, folks, I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day, and we will see you in the next one.